Welcome back to News in Focus. Now, the town of Lenasia is set to burst with color and creativity on Heritage Day. The Lenz Art Exhibition, hosted by the Lenz Art Expo in partnership with Lens 70 and OCAF South Africa, will showcase the work of both seasoned and first-time artists at Park Primary School. The event forms part of Lens 70's year-long celebrations marking the community's 70th anniversary with vibrant cultural milestones and now through art capturing the spirit and imagination of Lenasia. Joining me to my immediate right, I'd like to welcome Asma Moolla. She's a founding member and PRO of Lenz Art Expo, and to the extreme right, Aslam Kota, who is the chairman of Lenz Art Expo. Aslam, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and jazakallah so much for making time and joining us here.
Walaikum salam. Thanks for the opportunity.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Let me start off with you, Asma. Asma, of course, as a founding member, how important was it to use art as a way of maintaining such a rich town, which is Lenasia?
I think we've basically tried to incorporate all the different forms of art that is so prevalent within our community, and giving it a platform through the Lenz Art Expo. Basically, a lot of us were doing things individually, but the wider community wasn't aware of what was happening. So we, as the Lenz Art Expo, decided to get together and just put a platform for people to exhibit their talents, showcase what they are doing within their homes.
Aslam, you're not wearing your cricket hat on. You're coming on a different, obviously a different occasion this time around. Aslam, Lenz is so important to you also. As the chairman of this Art Expo, how does art speak to the community of yesteryear and the community of today?
Well, what I've discovered in recent times, talking to some of the guys in the older generation, is that art was very much a talking point. It was very much a part of society, pre-unity, pre-democracy. It was a way of expression. And we saw, I've learned also recently that because art was part of your educational curriculum, it was a must. And it was very much out there. But in the last, three decades, art is not part of the school curriculum. And yet it is an expression that people want to do all the time in various forms, as Asma is saying. And it's good to see, it's good to know that we are part of a setup now that is offering that kind of an opportunity. Sure. And over and above it, we'll talk about the actual expo itself. But we've got some experts who are going to be out there teaching youngsters who don't get those opportunities in school. So for me, I think just being out there to be able to give young and old, 6 to 60 or 90, the time to express themselves and their talents is really what this is all about. It's completely... It's a non-profit organization. If the artists make any money on their own, we're happy for that. And it's just, as Asma said, to create a larger platform. And we're into our fourth expo now in 2025.
That's the thing, Asma. You know, Aslam mentioned ages, 6 to 60, 9 to 90, whoever it is. It's different generations, but using art as a form of expressing the heritage of Muslims within Lenasia, the wider community within Lenasia, that speaks volumes, doesn't it? It allows to make sure that this community is still alive and it's still there despite whatever challenges are thrown towards them.
I think what we've noticed we've done it for nearly a decade now, the 4 different expos that we've hosted, well, this will be the 4th, is that we've had people that have been almost shy to exhibit their work.
Yes, yeah.
And today are actually hosting workshops within the Lenz Art Expo platform. So they've learned themselves, they've refined their techniques, and now are confident enough to be able to actually teach. And that, I think, is very, very important, to make sure that these skills do not die within the community. And to show that there's value to it also. It's not something, it's not your typical, okay, you know, we have to have doctors, nurses, accountants. There's a place for art within our community as well. And I think that is what is important, is to make sure that that is carried through for the next generation.
Yeah, there's something interesting that, you know, Asma touches on the stereotypical type of careers that you have to do. You have to be an accountant, a doctor, whatever the case may be. But there's something beautiful in art, isn't there, Aslam?
Yeah, whilst she does mention that, I mean, the beauty about art is, so you have a profession.
Yeah.
But, you know, art is still part of what you're all
Yes,
about. I mean,
yeah,
I know there's a gentleman that's going to be there tomorrow. He's 74 years old. He's been in business all his life, very successful. And in recent years, what he decided was, instead of pushing pen and paper and working with algorithms, he's going to open a bakery.
Okay.
So whilst his sons are running bakeries, he's going to be doing some model art there for us. So, and he's been doing that since the 1960s, when he was still a very young man.
Yeah.
So it does sort of lend to the fact that you can be a professional, but art is very much a part of what you are about. You know, you're doing that to earn money and to look after your family, but art is something that's a passion, and that's basically what we're also hoping to instill in those that come through the corridors tomorrow, that they take up art and do the same thing.
Asma, maintaining the Islamic, you know, heritage, our identity, how important is it with regards to the event that is going to be happening on Heritage Day?
We've always had a very strong Islamic ethos coming through in the exhibitors.
Sure.
In terms of, obviously, your traditional calligraphy, which is very important. But also people nowadays are utilizing the calligraphic part of it, but using different media to express that.
Yeah.
So we're seeing more textured art, we're seeing different materials being used to express that. And I think if people come tomorrow, they will see it's not just the traditional calligraphy that you will see. There is such a wide variety of exhibitors, from traditional woodwork, to pottery, to using materials such as paper to do quilling and things like that. There's a very big range within the Islamic art sphere that is being explored.
And it comes to you then, Aslam, you know, if anyone's attending tomorrow, let's just say they're outside of Lenasia, and they say, you know, this actually sounds like a good idea, you know, to visit the Lenz Art Expo and appreciate what is happening there. What can people expect should they come to visit it?
I'd like to start by answering this question and saying that we are a diverse community in Lenasia.
Yes, yeah, of course. Yeah.
And all of the diverse community is going to be represented there. Even our neighboring Soweto, we've got a few artists from there who are going to be participating and have been participating with us. In fact, tomorrow we're very happy to welcome a pastor who was an arts teacher in Lenasia. And he is so delighted to be with us. I think he's very close to 80 years old. He's going to be there. He's going to be giving us a chat as well. He's going to be chatting to the audience on 2 occasions. We've got Krish, an ex-lady arts teacher in Lenasia. And she's going to bring all her expertise to the hall tomorrow, and also hopefully be able to just guide some of the young ones that are there. So it is diverse. We've not kept it to a specific religious group or even a race group. We've opened it, and we continue to look to do that. In fact, I think this year we've now got we've reached a situation where we've had to turn down applicants, which is very sad. But we are limited by the size of the hall.
Yeah. After the break, my conversation continues with Aslam Kota and Asma Moolla. 70 years since the formation of Lenasia as a town. What makes this town so unique, and why is the Lenz Art Expo going to show the uniqueness of this town? The conversation continues after the break. Welcome back to News in Focus. We are wrapping up the conversation with Aslam Kota and Asma Moolla, who are from the Lenz Art Expo. If you are in Lenasia, make your way to Park Primary School just to appreciate what the community of Lenasia is doing in terms of showcasing art for that town. Aslam, I want to come to you because, of course, you are a resident, a veteran of the town of Lenasia, 70 years since its formation. I guess everyone knows the history. You know, it was forced displacements that happened in the town of Fitas and its surroundings within Johannesburg, and of course, hence we got to where we are in Lenasia. If I were to ask you, Aslam, what does Lenasia as a community mean to you? How would you answer that?
Well, I mean, we had no choice. From being in Frederdorp, Fitas, we were forced to move into Lenasia. We didn't make the choice, but we had to take and grab life as it was thrown at us, and we had to make something of it. And I think that's what's remarkable about all communities who were displaced. That within the limitations that were thrown towards them, they still thrived as a community in every department. And I mean, for me, in Lenasia, I was a reluctant Lenasian right in the beginning. When my family actually moved, I refused to pick up a teaspoon to get to Lenz because I was rebelling against the fact that we had to leave. Of course, the reality was we had to leave. My brother was getting married, we needed a bigger place to stay. But just coming back to this, I mean, what's fantastic about Lenasia and in Fitas, the amount of great leaders in every aspect of life, you know, whether it was in medicine, politics, in sport, in political resistance, we had them all. The finest of teachers, the finest of lecturers that you could get, some of them went beyond our borders and taught thousands of people overseas coming from our little community. So Lenasia actually embodies that today as well, very, very much so, in every aspect of life. And the entrepreneurship that continues there from a business point of view and so forth, and the type of people that we've produced is non-stop. So it just shows that it's inherent in the Indian psyche also, that you don't sit back. You get up and you move. And that's what we've seen in Lenz. And I think coming back to Lenz 70, I don't know if it's so much of a celebration or more of marking of the fact that we were displaced 70 years ago. But it's a good time to mark it. And I'm glad that Ismail Wadi, a former teacher and also a member of parliament and also a minister, decided that we needed to do something. I must say it's upfront that it's apolitical. That whilst he was with the ANC, this was to celebrate the Lenasia community in every way possible. So over the number of months, or let's just say in the past, there have always been events that have taken place. But this year, in marking the 70th anniversary, Lenz 70 have sort of teamed up with all of those organizations to mark the celebration. And you know, there have been quite a few already that have gone in the last few months. Well, the highlight for me was certainly the book fair. And the short story to that is I went to Ismail and said, I have a friend that wants to do a book launch in Lenasia. He's Indian from Durban and is a brilliant writer. And Ismail said, but why don't we open it up to the rest of the community? And the astounding and the most remarkable story out of that is that we discovered 68 published authors in Lenasia we didn't know about. We may have known about a dozen. So that just shows you that Lenz 70 was able to bring that through. And we had a very successful book fair where all of them came and spoke and talked about their route and their path towards becoming writers, you know. And hopefully the art scene will do the same. But again, also going through the entire community, the Diwali festival, there's been a book quiz, there's going to be a reunion of teachers going to be happening soon, all within the theme of celebrating Lenz 70. There's much else to it. It's not coming to mind right now. But so for me, the fact that this idea came about has been a good one. Ismail is the type of a character that if he flicks his finger, everybody jumps. I've described that to him to his face as well. And a lot of us were asked to write up history. And with my cricketing background, he picked up the phone and said, I need a cricket history about Lenasia. I ended up writing over 6,000 words, 16 pages, much to his surprise, of course. But I also took that, and this is the important point to make, that if I didn't do that, I'm part of the era that has straddled the two. I'm part of the group that has straddled the two eras. And if guys like us are gone,
Yeah.
nobody's going to be able to log and register that history. So having done that, in 15, 20 years' time, 50 years' time, if anybody wants to know about how did cricket actually come about in Lenasia, of all places, it's there now on record.
Yeah.
So like that, many other on the art scene and throughout every aspect of life,
Yeah.
guys have been contributing and still contributing, and it is available on the Land 70 website.
Asma, I want to come to you. You're telling me of air, of course, you lived in the United Kingdom. So, I mean, obviously coming back to Lenasia and to be part of this and to make sure that you play your part with regards to maintaining this rich heritage of Lenasia. How important is that for you personally, knowing that, of course, you were away from the country for quite some time, so much had happened, but you're still here to go ahead and contribute, and of course through this expo over here?
I've always had a very close relationship to South Africa because of my family.
Sure, yeah.
So we've always kept tabs in terms of what was happening here. And for me to actually be a part of this celebration now is actually a huge privilege to see. I mean, democracy started just after I got married, I think.
Right.
So for me to live through that change, having come through an upbringing that was very free in terms of what we were able to do. Like I said, it's a huge privilege for me to be a part of this. And also to actually see the type of talent that is out here, not just in Lenasia, but in South Africa itself. But particularly Lenasia, and the fact that we've managed to maintain those skills, that sense of camaraderie throughout all of these years, despite the way that Lenz was forced to start up.
Yeah.
Please, tomorrow, come and see the type of skill that we have on display there.
Yeah. Aslam, you were mentioning, there was quite a number of authors that were, unearthed during, the book fair. There are some hidden gems in Lenasia, aren't there? And especially within the art sphere.
Well, I must say that when we did the first art show, expo, it was in a small hall at the Jiswa Center, and we didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
We only knew what the immediate family are doing and what their talent was all about. And suddenly here was this a whole diverse group. We had a gentleman who was in his 80s from Roshni, who also came and displayed his talents as a calligrapher. A lot of the guys do calligraphy because of the Arabic context. But there's, in normal English writing, you can do it as well. And these guys, Rafiq Kaj is the other one, they can do both. So the talent, you can imagine how that mind thinks. So we then realized in the second or the third show that there were so many more. And like Asma said right in the beginning, the diversity that just that art form brings to light is absolutely amazing. And we saw some young kids who in their own, coaxed by their parents to come through, because in our press releases we were actually saying, please come out there and show what you're doing.
Sure.
And the parents actually made sure that happened. And there was one young girl of about 12, I think, maybe even younger. The intricate work that she was doing with paper was amazing. And had it not been for her mother encouraging her to actually come to the expo, she would have remained an unknown. So like that, there are so many other stories to tell.
There's something interesting that Aslam mentions, the youngsters. And of course, Lenz has this rich history. Asma, how important is it that the youth, even though there are certain struggles that the youth may go through today, that through art, they're not forgetting how their forebears were able to make such sacrifices for a town like Lenasia to start, even though there were certain circumstances which were forced upon the community. And through art, that history can be taught, but also preserved for the future.
We've got very experienced artists that are within the community. Auntie Krish that Aslam mentioned, she's taught literally, I think, 2 generations of artists within the Lenasia community. We need more people like that.
Sure.
And we need our community to value that kind of dedication. And hopefully Auntie Krish will be there tomorrow to give us a little bit about her background also. But I think the Lenz Art Expo is a good platform to show that no, you know, this is not going to die out with the older generation. The younger generation, we've got, let me tell you about a lady that phoned me. She says, you know what, I'm an ex-pupil of Park Primary. My daughter is now studying fine art at a college.
Right.
Would she be able to take part in this? So we are maintaining that. And I think we are really making sure that it is valued within the community.
Asma, Aslam, unfortunately, time has run out. Jazakallah so much for making the time for us. All the best ahead of tomorrow. And I'm sure, you know, if it's not just the people from Lenasia, others from outside will be able to go ahead and attend this event. We say Jazakallah to you for coming here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.
That's Aslam Kota, the chairman of Lenz Art Expo, and Asma Moolla, founding member and PRO of Lenz Art Expo. So if you are in Lenasia area, do make a turn there at Park Primary School just to really appreciate some of the work the community is doing there. Well, that's all we have for you here from News in Focus, from myself, Ross Patel, and the rest of the team in Johannesburg. I'll see you again on Thursday. We will have Heritage Day shows for you tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.